This map is all the proof we need. Clear to me that justice was served. Gary and Adil's denials don't outweigh Steve coughing it all up, including the map. And frankly, I don't give a shit who was the mastermind. I stand behind pinning it on Gary, but they all earned the walk. Human hunting grounds. Twisted fuckers. Let all this tick stuff go. We took care of it. Big picture focus from now on. Georgia.
You there, Casey?
Hey, tourist.
I found Kenneth.
You did? Is he still alive?
He wasn't gonna make it. He begged me to put him out of his misery. So I did.
Oh. Well, I'm sure you did what was right. Tourist. Shit. Rest in peace, Kenny. My friend. What did he tell you?
He wanted me to tell you something. You want to know what he said?
Yes, of course. What did he say?
He said you're a good guy. Not to feel guilt about what happened outside the bunker. To let the massacre go. He told me all about it. From his perspective. But I am curious about yours.
Well, if he told you what happened, why do you need to hear it from me? You know what you need to know, right? And you've told me my friend is dead, so we can move on, yeah?
We move on after you tell me your side of the story.
All right, hard-ass. You want to hear what happened? Fine. There was a massacre. 36 people, at least. Civilians. Right at the reserve entrance. Innocent people that we should have been protecting. I should have done something to stop it, but I didn't. I stood there, a coward. And now I don't sleep. I have a nervous twitch in my right hand that gets more pronounced every day, and the guilt...
Those are just facts, Casey. I already know the facts. What I need to know is your perspective on the whole thing. There's a reason why you can't sleep. You're twitching like a junkie and your chest feels like it's caving in.
Okay, quit badgering me, please. I'll talk. Just give me a second to gather my thoughts. It's all fucking foggy. The whole thing escalated really fast. The first bullet was Foster. I wanted to scream no, but it's like it just left my body. Everything after that moment, it's like a nightmare. Jess and Trent started firing. Jess, she was smiling. Kenneth hesitated. He looked right through me, like he expected me to have his back. But I did nothing. So he started firing. After that, all I've been able to retain are weird details. Oh, the sounds. A hat. A cross. Man, I can actually feel...
What do you hear when the sounds come?
The sound of terror. The pleas. The gunfire. My own shouts. The thump of bodies hitting the floor. This cacophony will just swell up inside my head when I least expect it. This chaos. But I can still pick out every single fucking sound. I just can't shake it.
The feel of the trigger. Did you pull it?
Yeah. I didn't want to, but I did. Basic training kicked in. Follow orders no matter what. But I don't know if I killed anyone. I may have. Thing is, I'll never know. Maybe that's worse than actually knowing for certain that I did.
A cross? Like in the church? What's that all about?
Yeah. It's fucking strange, tourist. I see it. Real close up. Everything around it is hazy. Bullets chewing it up. Splintering the wood. It's from my church back home. The one my mom used to drag me to. You know, but that makes no sense. Well, it's just my mind fucking with me. Guilt digging in deep, I guess. Fearing judgment.
You mentioned a hat. What hat?
There was this old man, shielding his wife. He had on this bright blue fishing hat, and I watched a flurry of bullets rip it right off in this spray of blood and skull. And this fucking hat, I swear to God, it's the exact same hat my uncle used to wear. And the bullets drove it into the wall, and it hung there for a second, dripping. And then it flopped onto the floor. The image, I can't get it out of my head. I'm worried it'll be there. There was this old man, and I watched. And then it flopped onto. I'm worried it'll be there forever. Did I?
Best to assume the worst.
That's exactly right, tourist. And I can't fucking deal with that.
Get it out of your head or drown it all out with something else. We don't have the time or the energy for a pity party, Casey.
Sorry, I don't know if I can turn it off. Not everyone is like you.
You'd be better off if you were like me. There are certain realities at play in this swamp. Accepting them is the difference between life and death. If you want me to stick around, I need you to get your shit together.
Easier said than done, tourist. But I get your point. I suppose the guilt is nothing compared to the knee-deep water that keeps on rising in here. And at least I can take comfort in the fact that there's only one version of the truth left. And it belongs to me, I guess. Whatever life I have left. The truth will either kill me or set me free.
The choice is yours to make, Casey.
Thanks. Look, tourist, this little chat, it's worn me the fuck out. And I've got rewiring to do to keep from getting electrocuted next time I use this radio. Not that it really fucking matters. Doubtful I'm getting out of here alive. Without that key that has everyone riled up, this is all a waste of time. I'm gonna go. I'll talk to you later, I guess.
Southern Bump, 421. Suppress. Old Town. Weapons sighted. The Shallows.
husband was innocent. I don't give a damn what was on that map. Doesn't prove a thing. Georgia has such a stranglehold on the tower. She could say the sky was green and made of jello, then everybody behind the wall would nod, smile, and get out their spoons. Not me, and not my daughter. I'm going to prove to Umbra that we can rise above it all, that we can remain in truth. Which brings me to a confession, tourist. I didn't tell the full story of how I got the reserve key. Umbra called me out for omitting a critical detail. I am raising the kid right, I guess. To get the key, I had to hurt someone. Real bad. A dear friend. I almost... My husband was innocent. I don't give a damn what was on that map. Doesn't prove a thing. Georgia has such a stranglehold on the tower. She could say the sky was green and made of jello, then everybody behind the wall would nod, smile, and get out their spoons. Not me, and not my daughter. I'm going to prove to Umbra that we can rise above it all, that we can remain in truth. Which brings me to a confession, tourist. I didn't tell the full story of how I got the reserve key. Umbra called me out for omitting a critical detail. I am raising the kid right, I guess. To get the key, I had to hurt someone. Real bad. A dear friend. I almost killed her. In the moment, it felt like the right thing to do. No question. But I regained my senses for my daughter's sake. I could see her eyes pleading with me from across the room. Stop, Mommy. This isn't right, they said. I was ashamed. I had succumbed to what the tower had become under George's influence. A breeding ground for betrayal, forcing people to turn against each other to survive. Sad thing is, I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Not proud of it, but it's true. There is a line with me, and when it's crossed, it does not matter who you are. Do whatever it takes to do what I know is right and protect my daughter. So now, you know exactly who you're dealing with, tourist. No bullshit. Like before, the drawing will point to the cache. Beyond the location, the next cache is a mystery. It might be in there. All I've heard is that it's quite a haul. May.
All patrols, return to the tower after 1800 herds stir through the Narrow. Reserve assault prep begins ASAP. 3 to 10 days. Hope for 10. You need fucking time. Reserve strike immediate when Loke is known. Any day, it seems. During prep, patrol sweeps reduced to only once per day, and only through the southern bump and northwest corridor. Reserve assault troops will move through there. With reserve secured and tick infected removed, should have all routes clear in 3 weeks. Back to business. Re-tick infected. List still developing. Currently at 50. Will be higher. Roundup raid for immediate exile. Anyone protest, they take the walk. No time for bullshit. Tired of feeding JB's army with dissidents. Elimination, the better option. Georgia.
I am not a born leader, but by the time I was 13 years old, I had seen it all. Hurricanes, earthquakes, floods, starvation, disease. Haiti never seemed to catch a break. So when the dead started to rise and panic overtook my adopted home of New Orleans, I was ready to rise. My neighbors were scared. Also, resilient. All they needed was a voice to rally around. And in a moment of pure passion, a moment charged with a desperate drive to make certain we all survived, I took the lead, and they listened. But those first few days were pure chaos. So much loss. And yet, we were able to gain a foothold in the Ninth Ward. We put our collective minds to work. Set up a scavenge system that was both safe and fruitful. Word started getting out. If you wanted to survive, go find Mama and her people. But soon, our community had outgrown the capacity of our perimeter. A decision had to be made. Start turning others away, or venture forth and establish a new home that could support every lost soul who found their way to our doorstep. I think you can guess what decision I made. The tower will always stand. Mama.
Get the fuck out of here! People gonna be pleased.
You messed up, son!
Northern Funnel, 313. Scout, Bastion. Reclaimed heavies overwhelming via Corolla. Southern Bump, 421. Suppress, Bywater. Weapon crates identified. The Ward.
Our battles with the dead in those early days were vicious and exhausting. We had zero control, and the fiends were everywhere. If our community was going to survive and grow, we had to radically rethink our approach. Our home and the area immediately around it needed to be entirely within our control. With that in mind, and while I stood atop one of our rickety barricades, I looked to the skyline and saw the promised land. A silhouette against the purple and orange of God's dazzling canvas. 45 stories tall. Called to me. There is our new home, I thought. A place where we can flourish on our own terms. In 2 days, I had our entire community and ready to march. 48 desperate but motivated souls, prepared to abandon what we had worked so hard to secure for the hope of a brighter future. The journey was through hell itself. So thick with the dead, it took us 3 sleepless days and nights to travel a single mile to the tower gates. But by God, we made it. Not one life lost. We did it as one determined heart, one determined soul. But as we stood there, gazing up at our future, filled with the hope of what it could become, we knew that the work was far from over. The tower was a tomb. Each floor of the 45 infested with the dead. One final challenge that we, the founders of our glorious community, were resolved to overcome by any means necessary. Floor by floor we fought. 5 bloody and costly weeks to clear the entire building. By the time our climb was through and the building was secure, our numbers were reduced to 36. 12 brave and beautiful souls lost. But their sacrifices were not in vain. We had our home, our tower. Word of our success spread like wildfire. Every day, more and more survivors found their way to our gates. and we welcomed them with arms wide open. We had the room to grow, and we grew quickly. In those early days, we were unified, and as a result, we were prosperous. One collective mind, one collective vision. They allowed us to regain control of our lives. But as the population grew, dissent found its way into the collective and reared its ugly head at the most difficult of times. And what did we do? Did we crumble? Did we change our course? No. We persevered, as we have from the beginning. We knew that our future remained bright if we stayed committed to what brought us to our tower in the first place. So let us not allow all the noise to knock us back down to the ground from the heights we have already achieved. Let us continue to climb together. We must cut loose those who burden us with their petty squabbles, their poisonous minds, and their free-rolling ways. Trust in Mama when I say we are better off without them. Have I ever steered you wrong?